स्वदेशी की मूवमेंट कर रही थी, आज हमने उसकी इवैल्यूएशन करनी है ना, तो राइट डाउन इवैल्यूएशन ऑफ स्वदेशी मूवमेंट, evaluation of Swadeshi movement. Now I told you what all to write in evaluation, right? याद है? Yes. हाँ.
Opportunities, right?
नहीं, वो तो आपको मैंने वैसे एग्जांपल दी थी। बेसिकली तो हम इसमें वही लिखते हैं पॉजिटिव्स एंड शॉर्टकमिंग्स, उसके पहले प्रोविजंस भी लिखते हैं, वो तो मैंने आपको बताई दी ना सारी। तो अभी हम क्या करेंगे, शॉर्टकमिंग्स लिखेंगे इसकी पहले। राइट डाउन फर्स्ट वन। हाँ जी, पहले आपको लिखना इवैल्यूएशन ऑफ स्वदेशी। नहीं, ये सेपरेट है ना, डिफरेंस के खत्म हो गया। इवैल्यूएशन, उसमें सबसे पहले पार्ट है शॉर्टकमिंग्स। सबसे पहले लिखो द मूवमेंट कुड नॉट सर्वाइव, द मूवमेंट कुड नॉट सर्वाइव for long because there was severe government repression. There was severe government repression. The techniques used for the spread of the movement, सारी टेक्निक जो मैंने आपको लिखवाई थी ना, boycott of schools, colleges, passive resistance, वो सब ठीक है। The techniques used for spread of the movement were a failure because these techniques demanded a disciplined focus which was lacking in Indians. Okay. हिंदी का स्टूडेंट है। हाँ जी, वो ऐड भी होगी ना। एक मिनट, एक ही, ये कौन है Zoom यूजर? एक और है कोई? एक तो शबनम है, एक ये डेमो वाली है, रिद्धि का ऑलरेडी। अच्छा, उसने कैंसिल ही कर दिया। Then the next point, the movement was left leaderless. Because most of the leaders were arrested by the Britishers. The movement largely remained confined to, next point, the movement largely remained confined to Upper sections. The movement largely remained confined to upper sections. Middle class and zamindars. And it failed to reach the masses. Especially the peasants. Non-cooperation and passive resistance remained mere ideas. तो सिर्फ ideas just go ना. This means सिर्फ mere ideas. Shortcomings clear? What do you have to write up other than shortcomings in evaluation is positive aspects. Next heading is your positive aspects. Positive aspects of what? Yes, Swadeshi movement. Write down the first one. It provided a direction to the national movement. Because untouched sections like women, students, rural and urban population participated. It helped in the political awakening of the masses. Next, it united Indians to some extent. Clear up till this point? This was all about the Swadeshi movement. Okay. So now we are moving to the year of 1907 and we will do Surat skill. Who was the president of INC when the proclamation of Swadeshi was announced? Very good. Which year? Which session? Banaras. So now Gopal Krishna Gokhale was the president. The moderates did not allow the extremists to take the movement out of Bengal. This was the first point of the rift between the two, that is the moderates and the extremists. Clear? And what did the moderates do? What was the candy that was given to them? Swaraj. Swaraj was the candy given to extremists. But this was not spelled out, or you can say this was not charted out as to how to achieve Swaraj. I simply say you that from today onwards we will begin with answer writing, but I do not tell you how to start writing answers. I don't tell you how you should, begin with it. You should write introduction, body, conclusion. You should follow the word limit, etc. I don't tell you anything. That means you are clueless. You are confused. Same happened with this also. The moderates told extremists that yes, now the goal will be Swaraj, but it was not spelled out. It was not charted out that how we will achieve Swaraj. Second point of difference. Now, next point of difference comes over the presidentship of INC. The moderates were dominating at that time. So the extremists wanted either Lala Lajpat Rai or Tilak. Lala Lajpat Rai or Tilak to be the president of 1907 session. But the moderates did not wanted this because they knew that if these people, they are comparatively young also, furious minds, if they are given the presidentship, then definitely what will happen is moderates will lose their ground. They are little hyper people, they will destroy their relationship with Britishers also. They have kept a relationship with Britishers. Why? Because they thought that Britishers can help India's development by westernization. Clear? So they did not allow us and made whom? Who the president? Dadabhai Naroji? No?
Calcutta session.
नाइन 1906 में बनाया था जो स्वराज सेशन हुआ था ना कैलकटा, उसमें बनाया था। जो ये वाला सेशन था 1907 का, इसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं हम कि ये इसको बनाना चाहते थे आइदर लाला लाजपत राय और तिलक। But who was made the president? It was Raj Bihari Bose. यहाँ तक क्लियर है? अब यहाँ तक जब इसको बना दिया तो दे थॉट किया ये हमारी तो कोई बात सुनते ही नहीं है, ना तो हमें मतलब प्रेसिडेंटशिप देते हैं, ना ही हमारी कोई जो हमें हमारा गोल भी है उसको भी दे हैव जस्ट टेक इट ऑन mere paper, right? They are not even taking into consideration our methods of freedom struggle. So this is where the split takes place, which is called as Surat split. Write down the theory, then you will understand further. The 1905 session. The 1905 session. The 1905 session was presided over by Gokhale, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, right? The extremists wanted to take the movement outside Bengal. the extremists wanted to take the movement outside Bengal. And start a nationwide mass movement. And start a nationwide mass movement.
Start a
nationwide mass movement. Mass movement. But the moderates were not in favor of extending the movement beyond Bengal. The moderates were not in favor of extending the movement outside Bengal. First point of view. Now in 1906, the extremists wanted either Lala Lajpat Rai, or yes, Tilak as the president, But moderates proposed the name of Dadabhai Naoroji. To please the extremists, the moderates declared Swaraj as the main goal. However, this was just to pacify the extremists. Right? And in actual, the program to achieve Swaraj was not spelled out. However, in actual, the program to achieve Swaraj was not spelled out. In 1907, next, third point. In 1907, the extremists again wanted either Tilak and Lala Lajpat Rai to be the president. ये line लिख लो पूरी. The extremists again wanted either Lala Lajpat Rai or Tilak to be the president. But in order to exclude Tilak, राशि बिहारी घोष, मैंने घोष लिख दिया, घोष, ये ना थोड़ा कंफ्यूज है, घोष लिखना है, ओके, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। राशि बिहारी घोष, राशि बिहारी घोष was made the president, was made the president. And also the program charted out by extremists, that is क्या क्या था, रेजोल्यूशन ऑफ स्वदेशी, पैसिव रेजिस्टेंस, बाइकॉट, ये सारे उन्होंने ड्रॉप ही कर दी थी, ठीक है, वर ड्रॉप। So both sides did not compromise, and the Surat split took place, Now when Surat split will take place, who will dominate the Congress? Moderates? They were already dominating. Extremists were left out. They were excluded from the INC. Am I right? Now here what will start is a revolutionary activity. Yes, this is almost 1930 or 30 onwards, okay? Which means that revolutionary activity was the byproduct of extremists. Am I clear to you? That moderates started dominating the Congress again. Extremists, which were a younger lot, which were young people, they found their place in the revolutionary activities, which were what? Self-sacrifice, killing major officials, British officials, conducting riots, picketing, more aggressive forms of resistance, right? So from here onward, also on the very first day, where you write that revolutionary activity will begin. Clear? So you can just simply conclude by writing this. Surat split kara dete. Now the moderates again started dominating the Congress. Conclusion likh lo iska. The moderates again started dominating the Congress. And extremists were left out. अभी इसके बाद क्या था? इसके बाद गवर्नमेंट ने, इट इज ब्रिटिशर्स, they have already divided. They have seen that these people have got divided. Now what they will do? They will further weaken both of them, because if they have been separated, now they will strengthen themselves. The moderates will strengthen themselves, the extremists will strengthen themselves separately. So in order to weaken them, the government came with a lot of repressive acts. There was Seditious Meetings Act. There was Incitement to Offences Act. Sedition तो समझते हो ना? Sedition means if you, this is government, it is doing something and you openly defy it and publish such material which may threaten the position of the government. That is known as sedition. Okay. So the government came out with a very repressive acts. Also, they followed the policy of RCS. Repression. Who will they repress? Extremists or moderates? Definitely extremists. C means conciliation. Conciliation किसके साथ करते थे वो? Moderates से. कैसे? Indian Councils Act ले आए. पहले 1892 में, फिर अभी हम 1909 की करेंगे. वो क्या थी? कंसिलिएशन ही थी. कैसे कंसिलिएशन थी कि जब भी उन्होंने, मतलब आपके घर वाले भी ऐसे करते हैं, पहला चंगी तरह मारकूट देंगे, so they'll give you candy or chocolate and then they'll get their work done. Same was this case also. First they will beat you, then they will offer you something, and then they will again suppress you. S is for suppression. Conciliation in the forms of reforms. That yes, they were given an assurance that some reforms are on their way. But whenever there was an act, it was at the end of the day very futile. Because in actual it was not increasing the representation of Indians. I made you write the two acts now. Now we will write the third act. I was telling you that day also na, the Government of India Act 1909. Okay. So now the next point is write down. The British government. No. Next beginning of the topic here was the Britishers followed a three-pronged policy. RCS. In the first stage, full stop. In the first stage, the extremists were repressed harshly. In order to frighten the moderates. In the second stage, the moderates were conciliated. In the second stage, the moderates were conciliated with some concessions, and hints were dropped that some reforms are on their way. that some reforms are on their way, and hence isolating the extremists. Clear? See, repression on extremists, conciliation with moderates. Now, when the moderates will be their side, they will support the Britain government, which means extremists will be left alone, all alone, and they can be very easily suppressed. Clear? The policy is clear to you? This is what usually happens to you also.
मैम हिंदी में समझा दो।
हाँ जी समझाती हूँ। देखो मैंने यहाँ तक क्या बताया आपको कि एक्सट्रीमिस्ट और मॉडरेट्स अलग हो गए, राइट? अभी क्या करना था, ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट ने पॉलिसी फॉलो करी जिसको मैंने आपको लिखवाया आरसीएस। वो पॉलिसी क्यों फॉलो करी? जब ये सेपरेट हो गए हैं, डोमिनेट करना शुरू कर दिया इन्होंने आईएनसी को, एक्सट्रीमिस्ट अपनी अलग से रेवोल्यूशनरी पार्टीज बना रहे हैं, तो ये तो और स्ट्रांग हो जाएंगे। इनको और वीकन करने के लिए, टू व्हाट? टू वीकन देम, गवर्नमेंट फॉलोड दिस पॉलिसी कॉल्ड एज आरसीएस। इसमें क्या था, सबसे पहले दे रिप्रेस्ड द एक्सट्रीमिस्ट। अब अगर आप खुद देखो ना कि अगर मैं एक्सट्रीमिस्ट को रिप्रेस कर रही हूँ, मतलब कि मान लो फॉर एग्जांपल मैं उनको बोल रही हूँ कि आप लोग 4-5 बंदे इकट्ठे नहीं होंगे किसी भी हालत में, अदरवाइज यू विल बी पुट इनटू जेल। दैट मींस the moderates will get frightened. Moderates क्या सोचेंगे कि यार ब्रिटेन गवर्नमेंट अब हमारे ऊपर गुस्सा करेगी, या फिर क्या होगा, they might bring harsh policies for us. This was done, ये रिप्रेशन किया जाता था ताकि मॉडरेट्स को डराया जा सके। जब ये डरे होते थे तो इनको क्या बोलते थे कि आपको कंसेशन देते हैं हम कुछ। कंसेशन उस टाइम पे क्या चल रहे थे, मैंने आपको लिखवाया था, इंडियन काउंसिल एक्ट चल रही थी, जिसमें क्या मेन पर्पस क्या था, रिप्रेजेंटेशन इंक्रीज करने की कितनी इंडियंस की। तो कंसीलिएशन हमेशा यही होती थी कि मोर रिफॉर्म्स आर ऑन देयर वे। इससे क्या होता था, मॉडरेट्स किसकी साइड पे रहते थे, ब्रिटेन की साइड पे, ब्रिटिशर्स की साइड पे, और पीछे अकेले कौन रह जाते थे, एक्सट्रीमिस्ट। अब एक्सट्रीमिस्ट को सप्रेस करना बहुत इजी हो जाता था। Am I clear to you now?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Now suppress basically यही पॉलिसी, ठीक है? क्लियर? संदीप क्लियर? नेक्स्ट योर हेडिंग इज रेवोल्यूशन, नो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट पढ़ी है ना, वो बाद में आएगी, वैसे पहले रेवोल्यूशनरी एक्टिविटी कर लेते हैं। आई टोल्ड यू अब एक्सट्रीमिस्ट कहां पे जाएंगे, दे विल स्टार्ट डूइंग व्हाट, रेवोल्यूशन। तो hence the heading revolutionary activity, write down the heading revolutionary activity। ये मैंने मतलब बस आप सोचो सेपरेट एक्सप्लेनेशन, बस एक्सप्लेनेशन है। ये एक्सप्लेनेशन किसकी बैकग्राउंड बनाती है, एक्सट्रीमिज्म, रेवोल्यूशनरी एक्टिविटी। रेवोल्यूशनरी एक्टिविटी तभी स्टार्ट होगी ना जब ये बिल्कुल दे आर ऑल अलोन। इनको सप्रेस से इतना, आप खुद सोचो, अगर किसी बंदे को आप इतना सप्रेस करोगे तो फिर वो तो मरने मारने को तो आएगा। बस यही है रेवोल्यूशनरी एक्टिविटी। राइट डाउन, इट वाज द बाई प्रोडक्ट ऑफ militant nationalism in India. Militant nationalism in India. The extremist leaders, although called upon the youth to make sacrifices, but failed to create an effective organization. and failed to create an effective organization. The youth was under severe government repression. The youth was under severe government repression. And they decided if Swaraj is to be achieved, the Britishers should be expelled. The Britishers should be expelled completely. The Britishers should be expelled completely. Clear? This line is clear? They worked on the lines of revolutionaries, and their method was individual heroic actions. Inbox it. Individual heroic actions. Inbox. Very important. What were the methods of moderates? Triple P, prayer, protest, and petitions. Extremist method, passive resistance and boycott. Revolutionaries method, individual heroic actions. Murder of Late Commissioner Ryan. Murder of Saunders. Taking bomb in the Central Legislative Assembly by Bhagat Singh and Patukeshwar Dutt. Individual heroic action. Am I clear to you? Now they are not seeking the company of a group, or they are not seeking the permission of moderates. They are doing things on their own. Write down their programs. What did they do? ऐसे सब points बना के लिखने. Organizing assassinations. You understand assassination now? To kill someone who is in authority, who is in position. That is assassination. We never say that his father was assassinated. No. We say the PM was assassinated. The president was assassinated. Assassination. Clear? The word is clear to you? Organizing assassination of unpopular British officers. Unpopular British officers, comma, traitors. Next, conducting dacoities, looting, dacoities, 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 to raise fund for revolutionary activity. To raise fund for revolutionary activity. Next, organizing military conspiracies. Organizing military conspiracies. Now, what will happen when they will start doing this? Socho. They are taking very bold steps, no? Right? This will frighten who? And this will create confidence in who? Indians. That even if they have so much authority, so much power, if we will kill someone as an unpopular British officer, it would hardly matter. And it will give them confidence, a boost up. But these things are on the extreme side. And any extreme can be easily suppressed. These are extreme activities, isn't it so? You are killing officials. You are conducting dacoities. Now we will do a survey of what all activities were done, by whom, in which year, and what is their importance. Okay. So first of all, you have to write in Bengal. समझ गए हमने क्या किया? पहले इंट्रोडक्शन की, उसके बाद में हमने क्या किया, उसके रीजंस लिखे, फिर हमने उनका मेथड लिखा. अब हम देखेंगे कि वो हुआ कहाँ पे था और किस किसने किया था. ठीक है. सो राइट, टेबल ही बना लो, टेबल हेल्प रहेगा आपके लिए, क्योंकि फिर टेबल से चीजें याद करनी इजी रहती है. इसके थ्रू तो कुछ भी नहीं है. व्हाट विल यू राइट? यू विल राइट नथिंग. इसमें सिर्फ फैक्ट्स हैं, सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर योर प्री. You have started making short notes now? Huh? Yeah. कल से करना थे, 1905 से करना थे, स्वदेशी मूवमेंट से. एक्ट्स तो आपको सारी पढ़नी पड़ेगी, जो लिखवाए थे पूरे नोट्स, उसका कोई शॉर्टकट नहीं है. इसमें तो आपको थ्योरी भी लिखवा रही हूँ ना मैं, जो आपके मेंस के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है. इवैल्यूएशन होगी, इसकी इंट्रोडक्शन होगी, कंक्लूजन हो गया, जो आपने कल पिक्चर भी ली थी फर्स्ट पेज की, वैसे से शॉर्ट नोट्स. तनु, यू हैव स्टार्टेड मेकिंग you are there in the group, class group. You saw the picture?
Late
add हुए थे. You hero आज से. हाँ जैसे जी. What about you? अभिजीत. न्यूज़पेपर किस किसने पढ़ा है? आज तो कुछ भी इतना इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं था, मैंने तो 20 मिनट में पढ़ ली न्यूज़पेपर. ऑनलाइन everyone of you have read the newspaper?
No, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Harman, you are new? Okay. Okay, Harman, I guess you are new to the class. We are doing modern history और इसकी 5-6 classes तो हो चुकी हैं already. But for all the new students, we have some other new students also. We will be conducting a class all together again from the beginning for this subject. But for the meanwhile, please start making notes along with it, because it becomes very difficult on my part also to repeat again and again. Yes. Right down. बंगाल में लिखना है सबसे पहले. ऐसे बना लो, बंगाल में लिखो. सबसे पहले लिखो
How much columns you have?
How much? टेबल नहीं, वैसे ही बस नॉर्मल व्हाइट पेज पे सीधा प्लेन ये फाउंडर है. ओके, दिस इज द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. ओके, यहाँ पे ना zero bound to killing the judge, but two women instead got killed. Okay, and hence this is known as Alipur conspiracy case. What happened in Alipur conspiracy case? These two people, Praful Chakki and Khudiram Bose, threw a bomb to kill a judge, but instead what happened? Two innocent women got killed. After that, this person, he shot himself at the moment, and this person was arrested. This is known as Alipur conspiracy case. Clear? Clear? Online clear?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Ma'am, will you please repeat the last one?
Okay. So in 1908, what happened? A para dacoity was done by Pulindas, aided by Rashi Bihari Ghosh and Sachin Sania. Para dacoity was nothing else but to steal what? Arms and ammunition from Britishers' godowns. Next is Maharashtra. Maharashtra. (1879). 1879. Ramosi peasant revolt. Leader was Vasudev Balwant Phadke. ये एक ही बंदे का नाम. With the aim इसी के साथ में लिखना है. इनका एम क्या था ब्रैकेट में लिख लो बस. By disrupting communication lines. By disrupting communication lines. Next लिखो तिलक. Next person तिलक. ईयर नहीं है इसका. तिलक लिख लो. ईयर के सामने डैश डाल दो बस. सिंपली डैश. तिलक. टू जर्नल्स हैं इसके, केसरी एंड महारत. केसरी एंड महारत. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट ईयर लिखो 1897. 1897. Damodar and Balkrishan. Damodar and Balkrishan murdered plague commissioner. Plague commissioner. You know ना उस टाइम पे प्लेग बहुत हो जाती थी और उसको प्लेग पता है ना क्या होता है. हाँ प्लेग हो जाती थी. तो उस टाइम पे क्या करते थे, कमिश्नर अपॉइंट करते थे. वो क्या करते थे, कुछ नहीं करते थे, कोई सर्वे करे बिना. दे बस दे सिंपली यूज टू बर्न द होल विलेज to end the disease. Here this was what they used to do. उसके बाद killed the plague commissioner लिखो. Who कौन था? Rand, R-A-N-D. This was his name of the plague commissioner which was killed by them. नेक्स्ट लिखो अगेन सेम ईयर 1897 Savarkar, V.D. Savarkar. You all have heard of this name? V.D. Savarkar. Organized Mitra Mela. Organized Mitra Mela. M-I-T-R. Mitra Mela. Bracket. Secret Society. Bracket. Secret Society. And later on merged with Abhinav Bharat. With Abhinav Bharat. ठीक है. Next is Punjab. Bengal is done, Maharashtra is done, and now we will do Punjab. Lala Lajpat Rai. Lala Lajpat Rai. Started a magazine called Punjabi. Started a magazine called Punjabi. Next, Ajit Singh. Ajit Singh was Bhagat Singh's uncle. Ajit Singh. जर्नल का नाम लिख लो भारत माता. नहीं इनके ईयर्स. भारत माता. क्लियर. लाला लाजपत राय की कौन सी थी? और अजीत सिंह की भारत माता. ठीक है. अजीत सिंह अगेन अजीत सिंह सेम पर्सन. organized अंजुमन ए मोहिस्बान ए वतन. बस ये लिख लो, याद ही रहेगा ये, क्योंकि यही एक टेक्निक मतलब उर्दू की टर्म है पूरी मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री में. अंजुमन ए मोहिस्बान ए वतन इन लाहौर. ठीक है. ये क्या थी? ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. किसने स्टार्ट की थी? अजीत सिंह. कहां पर? लाहौर. Now last is abroad. Abroad मतलब बाहरली कंट्रीज में लिखेंगे. ठीक है. Now why will they start making organizations abroad? Huh? Why? Yes, because the revolutionaries were very much suppressed here. They could not carry the activity independently. That is why they had to go abroad to organize actions and come back India and perform them. Clear? Now clear? So write down abroad. सबसे पहले लिखो 1905. Indian Home Rule Society. Indian Home Rule Society named as India House. Indian Home Rule Society named as India House. ये कहाँ पे स्टार्ट की थी उन्होंने? लंदन में, बाय श्यामजी कृष्णा वर्मा. श्यामजी कृष्णा वर्मा. Next, Paris. मैडम भीकाजी कामा. मैडम भीकाजी कामा in Paris. ठीक है. She was a Parsi lady. She was not Indian or foreigner. She was what? Parsi lady. And she got a journal called as Vande Mataram. Very important. Okay. कामा. कौन सा जर्नल लॉन्च किया था इसने? वंदे मातरम. नेक्स्ट, बर्लिन. बर्लिन वीरेंद्र नाथ चैटर्जी. वीरेंद्र नाथ चैटर्जी. Now, for prelims, you have to always remember that Abhijit might be knowing that in South India, Chatterjee and Chattopadhyay are used alternatively. I guess in South India, this is a South Indian name basically. So Chatterjee and what? Chattopadhyay. They are used alternatively. If in your exam question comes, who set up their base in Berlin for revolutionary activity? Option A, Madam Bhikaji Kama. Option B, Ajit Singh. Option C, Virendranath Chattopadhyay. Then you will choose Virendranath Chattopadhyay because this was also a question of controversy in UPSC. This was asked, and it was later clarified by UPSC that in South India, Chatterjee and Chattopadhyay are used alternatively. Clear? Now you will write Morley-Minto Reforms or Government of India Act 1909. You have to see this name was of the Secretary of State and he was the viceroy at that time. Clear? Sandeep? Secretary of State was brought in by the chap. Indian Council Act 1858. Government of India Act 1858. After what? Revolt of 1857. The hierarchy was changed. Now where is this person? Where is this person operating from? England. Not in India. This was in India. Minto. Clear? This was named as, this was the name of the Secretary of the State, this was the name of the Viceroy of the State, and hence called as Morley-Minto Reforms, alternatively called as the Government of India Act 1909. Write down this thing. Morley-Minto was the Secretary, Morley was the Secretary, and Minto was the Viceroy.
Indian Council Act 9.
Yeah.
Indian Council.
इसको गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया इंडियन काउंसिल से मैंने इसलिए बताया था क्योंकि वो एक वाइडर चीज है, समझ रहे हो? उसमें हो क्या रहा है, रिप्रेजेंटेशन इंक्रीज और डिक्रीज होती है, बस वो ही फर्क है। तो इसका नाम क्या है? गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया 1909। ऐसे इसके बाद कौन सी आएगी? गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया 1935। फिर आएगी लास्ट में 47। Write down. In October 1906, a group of Muslim elites, met Lord Minto, led by Aga Khan, AGHAN, Aga Khan. Demanded separate electorates for Muslims. And representation in excess of their numerical strength. And representation in excess of their numerical strength. Settle? इसकी प्रोविजंस लिखो, प्रोविजंस provisions. सबसे पहले the number of elected members, the number of elected members in the imperial legislative councils, in the imperial legislative councils and provincial legislative councils was increased. What is the first provision? Elected members are increasing. Where? At both national level as well as the provincial level. Clear this point? Second point. In the provinces, non-official majority was introduced. Non-official majority was introduced. Clear this point? Clear to you? What is non-official majority? You have done the acts. You have not done the acts. Then why are you saying yes, you understood? What is non-official majority?
Council से अपने officials की majority ज़्यादा दिखाई।
हाँ, तो नॉन ऑफिशियल्स कौन थे? यस। व्हाट इज आई टोल्ड यू कि काउंसिल्स तो हमारे पास पहले से थे ऑलरेडी, उसमें मेंबर्स मेजॉरिटी किनकी थी? यूरोपियंस की। तो इंडियंस को इंट्रोड्यूस करने के लिए क्या किया इन्होंने? ऑफिशियल्स में नहीं डाला था, किसमें डाला था? नॉन ऑफिशियल्स में। और वो क्या होते थे? वो इलेक्ट होते थे या नॉमिनेट होते थे? नॉमिनेट होते थे, इलेक्ट नहीं होते थे। Which means any favorite can be made a non-official. This was further increased. Can you see what is happening? This was further increased, which means more people of the government itself are coming into the councils, and actual representation is not happening. Clear now? You understand legislative council, where everything, for example, you imagine present day parliament. At that time, what used to happen was all the members who used to be the, let's say, the MLAs, MPs, they were Europeans, Britishers. But Indians demanded that we should also be there. Britishers did not make them official members. Instead, they made them non-official members, and that too nominated. Who will nominate them? The government itself will nominate them. For example, she is doing my work. I will nominate her only. I will not nominate her. Hence, nomination was done and election was not done. Very clear? Next point. इसी के साथ लिख लो. Non-official majority was introduced, but since they were nominated and not elected, the Europeans still ruled the councils. The Europeans still ruled the councils. Online, no one of you has turned on their cameras. Are you ever listening or sleeping?
Listening.
Nimrat, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, there.
Okay. Clear? Next point. Separate electorates was introduced. very important, where there is also the beginning of communalism in India. Separate electorate for whom? This was the legislative council. Three type of people are still sitting there: official, non-official, in which some of them were elected and some of them were nominated, and third class of people was entirely nominated. Clear to you? This is the structure that is going on till now. Now in these, what has been introduced? Separate electorate for Muslims, divide and rule policy. Out of which it was introduced in here. Why are you not making it? Separate electorate was introduced here. Elected non-official members. How many seats were they given? 8. Clear till this point? Separate electorates were introduced where? In elected non-official majority. Right? Now here also you have to see when we talk about elected members, they are not directly elected, rather they are indirectly elected. You understand that? I told you that day also the difference between direct election and indirect elections. Direct elections is when you yourself choose your leader. Indirect election is, let's say Mansar chooses your leader and do not even ask you. This is known as indirect election. This is very important. Make it a point. The elected members were to be indirectly elected. The elected members were to be indirectly elected. The local bodies were to elect an electoral college which in turn would elect members. Next point. Besides separate electorate for Muslims, comma, representation in excess of their strength. Of their population. Was accorded to Muslims. Also income qualification of Muslims was kept lower than the Hindus. Income qualification, you understand? To contest election. Okay. income qualification was kept lower than the Hindus. Now what are they doing? They are dividing people on the lines of religion. They are giving a lot of candies to the Muslims, are doing nothing for Hindus. This will divide both of them, and hence the beginning of communalism in India, which will ultimately lead to such an extent that India had to be partitioned on communal lines. India for Hindus, Pakistan for Muslims. Can you see where the seeds of communalism is being sown? The relevance of the act is understood to you? Last point. Power of legislature was enhanced to some extent. Power of legislature was enhanced to some extent, but budget still could not be voted upon. I told you na, this was also there before कि budget को discuss तो कर सकते थे, सप्लीमेंट्री क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछ सकते थे, वोट भी नहीं कर सकते थे, ठीक है. पावर्स एनहांस की थी लेजिस्लेचर की, पर अभी भी आप बजट को क्या नहीं कर सकते, वोट नहीं कर सकते, ठीक है. हाँ व्हाट मैं क्या देख के बोल दी थी. हाँ बजट कुड नॉट बी व्हाई यस इवन मैं अपनी लैंग्वेज लिखा है वो, फिर मैं ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ सेंटेंस बना के दस दी होती है. Last point. One Indian member was to be appointed in the Viceroy's Executive Council. Was to be appointed in the Viceroy's Executive Council. What is the composition of Viceroy's Executive Council? One plus Viceroy's Executive Council. Viceroy, Government of India Act 1858. Open your books and see. Yes. Viceroy plus 50 members. Clear? Tanu? Preeti? Raman? Jyoti? Sandeep? Abhijit? Anurag and Rishabh. One Indian member was to be appointed to the Executive Council, and this person was Satyendra Sinha. I told you ना, उस दिन भी हम confused हो गए थे ना. This is Satyendra Sinha. Sinha was brought into the council. Satyendra Nath Tagore was the first ICS. Clear? अभी कोई confusion होगी नाम में? वैसे भी याद रखो, Sinha family is into politics also. Right? Shatrughan Sinha. He was the first person to be appointed in the Viceroy's Executive Council. In which year? 1909. Clear? Rishabh, clear? Now you will write the evaluation. Evaluation of Government of India Act 1909. Very important act. Okay? इसके सारे पॉइंट्स आपको बहुत अच्छे से आने चाहिए. और क्या आना चाहिए? कंपैरिजन. घर पे जाके क्या करोगे? जो इंडियन काउंसिल एक्ट पहले थी वो पढ़ोगे, और यहाँ तक आते आते देखोगे कि चेंज क्या हो गया है. ठीक है? मेरे ये वाला ग्लास होता है ना, इसमें ले आया करो गर्म पानी, और बस ये सेपरेट. ठीक है? कर मैं खुद ही दिया करो. इवैल्यूएशन में लिखो this reform was not at all an answer to the Indian political problems. Was not at all answer to the Indian political problems. Lord Morley. Who is Morley? Secretary of State. Where is he sitting? Lord Morley made clear that self-government, or you can say Swaraj, self-government is not suitable for Indians. Self-government is not suitable for Indians. Next point. This reform was only introduced to pacify moderates. RCS policy, repression, conciliation, and again suppression. This is what? This is conciliation. Okay? This reform was only to pacify the moderates. Separate electorate was the beginning of communalism in India. Separate electorate was the beginning of communalism in India. Indirect elections did not let have actual representation. Indirect elections did not let have actual representation. Clear? Now from fresh page start new topic. World War I. World War I and Indians response. ये सारी मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री की किताब है आपकी, ये नोट्स सारे मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री के इतने हो गए। इस हिसाब से तो तुम पूरी नोटबुक भर लोगे। घर पे जाके उससे चेक कर लेते हो ना, जो आपको मिली हुई है येलो बुक सी इंस्टीट्यूट से, जो भी उसमें एक्स्ट्रा लिखा हो वो आपको अपने नोट्स में करना है ऐड, बिकॉज I cannot teach you each and everything, okay? I just simply make you understand the basic concept, which will help you in the exam, right? Whatever extra is there, you have to add it by yourself. अभी हमने क्या करना है, फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर देखो, फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर की एक्चुअल जो स्टडी है वो हम करेंगे वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री में। इसे हमें याद रखना है कि फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर हुआ कब था, विच ईयर अभिजीत? फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, यू all of us has done in our classes of social science online.
1914 to 1918.
Yes, 1914. And what we will do here is we will see when First World War was happening, what was happening in India and how it influenced the state of polity in India. Am I clear? Now when we talk about First World War, Britain was in need of India's support. Both moderates and extremists supported the Britishers, but the revolutionaries said no, do not support the Britishers. Instead, what you do is you betray them and conduct revolutionary activity and make Indians free. And hence bring what? Freedom to India. समझ में आया मैंने क्या बोला? मॉडरेट्स और एक्सट्रीमिस्ट ने क्या बोला कि हम आपकी हेल्प करेंगे. कैसे हेल्प करेंगे? बाय सेंडिंग आर्मी टू द World War I on the side of Britain. But revolutionaries said no. Take advantage of this situation because they are already under pressure and stress and lack of manforce. Take advantage of this situation and you cheat them and expel them altogether from India and achieve freedom. Am I clear to you? Yes. So, on this ideology, a very, very famous movement that has happened is Gadar. You have not heard of it? No? Gadar movement, very important. So many movies have been made on this. In Jalandhar, there is a special mela that is organized on Gadarites, called as Gadari Babena Mela. Moderates would support Britain because they wanted that Britishers were always on the Indian side, that they will bring westernization. Extremists, why did they support it? They supported for simply a fact that if Indians will not participate, then ultimately those who are fighting on the enemy side of the Britain, they might come and occupy India. That it will be simply a transformation of India from one power to another power. Clear? Write down introduction में लिख लो. When the World War I began in 1914, when the World War I began in 1914, the moderates supported the Britishers' claim the moderates supported the Britishers' claim, comma, the extremists bracket Tilak was very at the forefront, okay. Extremists bracket Tilak supported Britishers because he was of the opinion that if Indians will support Britishers, then after the war Britishers could give India Swaraj. Clear? Tanu? As a gift of loyalty. That Britishers could give Indians Swaraj. However, the revolutionaries decided to take advantage of the situation. Decided to take advantage of the situation. Decided to take advantage of the situation. And took it as an opportunity. And took it as an opportunity to wage a war. To wage a war against Britishers. Against Britishers. And hence make India free. And hence make India free. Now when you will go back home, you will read two topics. Number one is Gadar movement. Mutiny in Singapore. And you will make your own notes. So leave 2 pages of your notebooks. This is just simply factual. What all happened in Gadar movement and what happened in the mutiny of Singapore. What was important for is only this thing, that in the World War I, where moderates and extremists decided to support the Britishers, revolutionaries decided to take the advantage and do what? Expel the Britishers from India altogether. But they failed miserably, okay? But their effort was mind-blowing. Okay, that is why we do the study then. Clear till this point? Leave 2 pages of your notebook, okay? You have to make your own notes. छोटी है बस फैक्ट्स लिखने हैं. मैं I'll check also tomorrow क्या लिख के लेके आए हो. 2 छाड़ दो 3 छाड़ दो अपनी राइटिंग देखो ताड़ी कितनी राइटिंग है. If you will, you have to ask me, then I have written it in. I have written this much. आप अपना देखो, ये मैंने लिखा हुआ. ठीक है? ये तो शॉर्ट नोट्स है, मैं इसी से पढ़ती हूँ. बाकी सारा दिमाग में कुछ छूटा है. अब तने कितनी बार पढ़ लिया होगा. ठीक है, 2-3 पेज छोड़ लिए. लाइट ऑन. अच्छा, इसी बंद कर दो. ये इसकी रेड लाइट क्यों ऑन है?
ऑन है कोई नहीं.
हाँ?
कीबोर्ड लाइट है.
ये पहले तो नहीं थी.
वो इंस्टॉल किया. कोई दिक्कत नहीं है.
पता नहीं, मैंने तो नहीं देखी. होम रूल लिखती हूँ. रुको. Home Rule League movement. Another important movement after Swadeshi and boycott. Home Rule League movement. सिर्फ इंट्रोडक्शन और फैक्टर्स देखेंगे, डिटेल से करते हैं, ठीक है। अभी आप देखो ये ईयर कौन सा चल रहा है, 1916 चल रहा है, ठीक है, और 1916 में वर्ल्ड वॉर 1 चल ही रहा है, सो व्हिच मींस होम रूल लीग वाज आल्सो डन, it was an event happening during the World War 1. Write down introduction लिखो इसकी. This movement was an Indian response. This movement was an Indian response to World War 1. To World War 1. To World War 1. Indian Home Rule League movement was an Indian response to World War 1. But how is this different? I told you Gadar and Mutiny in Singapore is also a response to World War 1. But this is very effective and mild in form. This does not want to overthrow the government. This does not want to expel the Britishers from India. But I told you, what were the revolutionaries doing? They wanted to expel the Britishers. This was carried forward on Irish lines by Annie Besant and Barlow. They set up two separate leagues. Okay, one was in Bombay. मतलब मैं एरिया बताऊंगी आपको, दोनों का एरिया अलग है. इनकी डिमांड्स क्या थी? सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट, होम रूल. Clear? This movement is very important because before the advent or before the entrance of Gandhi into the scene, this was the only movement which was happening at that time effectively. Clear? After this, इसके बाद हम गांधी को पढ़ना शुरू करते हैं, ठीक है. Then we will see the Gandhian phase of freedom struggle. अभी गांधी जी has not entered. This is the year 1916 we are talking about, right? Although he came in 1915, but he started his political work after 1916 only, right? So I need to report on the response to World War 1, but in a effective way. But in an effective way, as it did not want to expel Britishers from India. To expel Britishers from India. To expel Britishers from India. It was organized on the lines of Irish Home League. It was designed on the lines of Irish Home League, which means it is similar to Irish Home League, right? Its main proponents were हमेशा याद रखना है, Annie Besant. You have heard of this name?
Yes.
And Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Its main proponents were Annie Besant and Bal Gangadhar Tilak. लिखो factors for the growth of this movement. factors for the growth of this movement. Number one, nationalists felt that popular pressure was required to attain concessions from the government. What does this point mean? That even if you are supporting the war, you are supporting the Britishers, but if you are supporting them, keep a pressure on them also. If we are supporting you, we are supporting you for a purpose. Clear? And put pressure on them to attain your goals. Clear? Next, second point. The moderates were disillusioned by Morley-Minto reforms and were not doing anything constructive. Next, people were feeling the burden of wartime miseries. Caused by high taxation and rise in prices. They were ready to participate. High taxation, and they were ready to participate in any kind of movement. This point is understood. Any kind of movement. Next point. Tilak was ready to assume leadership and this time he wanted to reform the administration and not overthrow the government. Clear? That now he also wanted that Britishers should stay, but he was very much vocal about reforming the administration. This point is clear? Tilak was ready to assume leadership and yes. This time he wanted to reform the administration and not overthrow the government or not overthrow the Britishers. Clear? Next point. Annie Besant had decided to enlarge the sphere of her activities to build home rule in India in India on the lines of Irish Home Rule League. On the lines of Irish Home Rule. Clear till this point that what is Home Rule League and why it is due. The program of the Home Rule League we will do tomorrow, and we will also start Gandhian phase of struggle. This was your third lecture on freedom struggle, na? Notes dikhana. Okay, so online, anyone having any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Answer check kara lo. आंसर चेक करा लो अपने कि लिखे ही नहीं है एक ही तो बोल रहा है लिखने underline लैंग्वेज के ऐसे बोले ऐसे का कंटेंट भी जो होता है ना देखो आपको आंसर तो सिंपल लैंग्वेज में लिखने हैं डेट योर मेंस और योर ऐसे बट उसका कंटेंट तैयार करने के लिए आपको वाइटल सोर्सेज से पढ़ना पड़ता है ना सिंपल लिखने का मतलब ये तो नहीं कि क्या जाओगे जो आपके पास कंटेंट है उसको आपको सिंपल लैंग्वेज में लिखना है if that essay sounded you good it was because he had compiled it from number of sources fancy language लिखने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है वेरी गुड बस आपको ये थोड़ी सी शॉर्ट करनी है ठीक है ये वर्ड लिमिट मुझे लगता है ज्यादा ही लिख दी है आपने ठीक है थोड़ी शॉर्ट करनी है वेरी गुड लिखना है, हाँ लिखना क्या था? ये चेक कर लीजिए क्या लिखा है। हेट्रेड लिखा था। ठीक है, थोड़ा सा छोटा है आंसर आपका। आप उसे चेक कर लेना, क्योंकि उससे पहले उसकी डिमांड्स भी लिखी है जो मॉडरेट्स लिखी थी, उसके बाद उनकी शॉर्टकमिंग्स भी लिखी है। ठीक है, दोनों लिखने हैं इसमें। गवर्नेंस की क्लास में क्वेश्चन क्या है कि मॉडरेट्स उनके पास एक आइडियोलॉजी थी, उनके एम्स एंड ऑब्जेक्टिव्स थे, ठीक है, पर वो फेल हो गए। किसके लिए? टू कैरी कन्विक्शन विद द मासेस, दैट इज टू टेक द मासेस अलोंग विद देम। तो वो उसके बारे में लिखा था। तो आपको इस आंसर में क्या लिखना था? मॉडरेट्स लिखने थे, ठीक है, थोड़ी सी ब्रीफ टेक्स्ट। उसके बाद लिखे थे उनके गोल्स एंड ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, ठीक है, जो उनके एम्स मैंने आपको लिखवाए थे। और उसके बाद में व्हाई डिड दे फेल? narrow social base, no trust in the capability of masses, they were wealthy, educated people, ठीक है, चेक कर आंसर। आंसर करिए। आइडियोलॉजी का लिखिए मॉडरेट्स की, ये तो फेलियर आया ना। आइडियोलॉजी, गोल्स, ऑब्जेक्टिव्स कहाँ लिखे? ये कुछ लिखने की जरूरत नहीं। ये जगह तो कंफ्यूजन है ना, उसका आंसर देखना। वो लिखना है, मैंने आपको कल क्या बताया था, इसमें दो पार्ट्स आएंगे। ये देखो ना, लिखा हुआ है। कोई बात नहीं, तभी मैंने बोला था 250 वर्ड्स का लिखना है, क्योंकि ये लेंथी था। ये क्या हो गया? रियली
मॉडरेट से सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट पर उनको सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट को ताकि बेसिक ज्यादा सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट
चेक योर नोट्स। This was given by extremists. सेल्फ गवर्नेंस क्या होती है? वो तो मैंने आपको एग्जांपल देने के लिए बता रही थी ना कि आप पर्सनल एग्जांपल बता रही थी। ये ठीक है आपका। बस इसमें ना आपको ये ठीक है, बाकी सारा ठीक है, ये नहीं लिखना और बस आइडियोलॉजी और गोल्स ऐड कर लेने हैं, ठीक है? जो मैंने लिखवाए थे ना मॉडरेट्स के गोल्स,
अच्छी बात नहीं।
अब देखो मेरी बात सुनो, आप इंडिया में रह रहे हो, ठीक है? यू आर ऑलरेडी हैविंग अ सेल्फ सफिशिएंट इकोनॉमी। What Britishers are doing, they are taking your occupation from you. They are taking your resources, sending it to your parent country, and then they are sending it to you again.
हमने ये मॉडरेट के कंट्रीब्यूशन
क्या लिखा है?
मॉडरेट के कंट्रीब्यूशन के
कंट्रीब्यूशन में तो नहीं होगा, इसके इसके आगे ये होगा कि the moderates were able to find it or they were able to discover it that Britishers are converting the India self-sufficient economy into colonial economy. Check the line. कहाँ से देख के लिखना? हाँ? The political jargon used by पॉलिटिकल जार्गन मतलब आप देखो ना, वो बहुत पढ़े लिखे लोग थे, वो टेक्निकल टर्म्स यूज करते थे, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिज्म, सेल्फ रूल, वो आम बंदे को कैसे समझ में आएगा? ठीक है आपका आंसर, बस इसमें आइडियोलॉजी लिखी है, ठीक है? और गोल्स आपने एक लाइन मिस की है, सबने मिस की होगी, वो ये कि the moderates were able to realize this, that the Britishers are transforming the India's self-sufficient economy into colonial economy. Next. नहीं, बस तुमने वो आइडियोलॉजी नहीं लिखी, कॉन्ट्री वो लिखी हुई है, प्रॉब्लम्स लिखे हैं, बाकी ठीक है। हाँ हाँ हाँ, कुछ मैंने अभी बोला है आपको, अभी गूगल से हेल्प लेके लिखना ये ठीक है, ये ठीक है, ये ठीक है, ये भी ठीक है, ठीक लिखा है आपने, बस ये चीजें नहीं लिखनी है, तो आपको एक्सप्लेन करना पड़ेगा कि वो मॉडरेट्स ने क्या किया, वो लिखना, उनका फेलियर लिखना, उस पर ज्यादा फोकस करना, ठीक है? ये ठीक है, इसमें 4 पॉइंट और ऐड कर, उससे देख लो, ठीक है? सही लिखा है। कॉलेज की बुक, कौन सी कॉलेज की? कॉलेज की बुक बोला। देखो सबसे पहले ना आपको आंसर जब लिखना होता है ना, तो आपको आंसर लिखना होता है पॉइंट फॉर्म, ठीक है? आपने ठीक लिखा है, पर आप मेजर मिस्टेक्स हैं। सबसे पहले इंट्रोडक्शन लिखनी है, उसके बाद में जैसे आपको लिखना है आइडियोलॉजी ऑफ मॉडरेट्स, ठीक है? जब तक आप मॉडरेट्स की आइडियोलॉजी नहीं बताओगे तब तक आप उसका फेलियर कैसे बता सकते हो? जब भी आपको कोई हेडिंग दे तो आपको उसको क्या करना है, इनबॉक्स, फिर इसके अंदर आपको लिखने हैं पॉइंट्स। लेट्स से यू रोट 5 पॉइंट्स, उसके बाद आपको लिखना है फेलियर ऑफ मॉडरेट्स। मेन क्वेश्चन तो यही है ना, फेलियर ऑफ मॉडरेट्स। फिर इसको इनबॉक्स किया, 5 पॉइंट लिख के एंड में क्या लिख दिया, conclusion, right? You do not have to write in the para format. हाँ जी, ऑनलाइन Aranya, where is your answer? I have only got Ritika's answer. Now Tushar's also. ये तो बिल्कुल कॉजेज, तुषार कॉजेज ऑफ फेलियर तो ठीक लिखा है, पर ये ऊपर इंट्रोडक्शन में क्या लिख दिया? इंट्रोडक्शन बिल्कुल गलत है। इंट्रोडक्शन में आपको इज इवन देयर, व्हाट इज दिस यार, बदतमीज न्याणे। रितिका, वेरी गुड, शाबाश। मतलब इतनी शिद्दत नाल आंसर लिखा है ना कुड़ी ने, better than all of you, and she is an online student. Ritika, very good Ritika, brilliant.
Thank you.
You are definitely going to clear this exam. What about others?
No, I didn't have the Gmail. I'll send you.
You don't have my email?
No.
Aranya? हाँ जी जाओ। And Preet Kamal. Aranya and Preet Kamal. For future references also, please write my email because I do not share my personal number with anyone. This is my ID. Please mind double N and double R here. Thank you.